that's legal. Can't let nobody take my love. Can't let
Hey butterflies, welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Diaries podcast. I am your host, Farah. If this is your first time seeing this face, hi, welcome. And this is the Butterfly Diaries, where we grow and learn to fly with our wings freely, okay? This is a place for you to grow and learn how to fly freely. And it's a journey for me and it's a journey for you, but we're going on this together, all right? So I'm so glad and happy to be back with another episode. Last episode, we talked about self-love. So this episode, I kind of want to piggyback off of it. So it's not going to be a long episode at all. It's just going to be a quick piggyback off of last week's episode. And if you did not hear the last episode, please, it's up here on YouTube as well, and I'll put the links in the description box below, and also on all podcast platforms. Every time I say that, I mix up and jumble up the words, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. But yes, if you're listening to me on Spotify, please like, rate, comment, and if you're listening to me here on YouTube, hello. Hi. Get to see my big smile. Thank you so much for supporting me wherever you are listening or have been listening to this on. It's very, very big to me. I love the comments. I love the likes. I love the shares. Every little thing means the world to me. So thank you so much. So like I said, the last episode, it's better if you listen to the last episode first before you listen to this episode, so that way you're not lost a little bit about what I'm even talking about. But as I'm recording, I record also, you kind of see, I'm going to lift up my mic a little bit. So I record both, okay? So, but if you can go listen to the last episode, you'll definitely understand a lot more what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from about self-love. And basically in the last episode, I don't even want to give it away. You need to go listen to it. I just did that. Yes, I did. Go listen to it. Thank you. Go listen to the last episode so you can find out what we're talking about over here, okay? All right. I love you, butterflies. I love you. All right. So to continue on, so self-care and understanding is the title for this episode. And it's a topic for this episode. And I kind of wanted to piggyback on the aspect that everything starts within ourselves. It all starts within ourselves. Once you're able to control self, once you're able to find out the things that trigger you, the things that make you upset, the things that make you frustrated, that make you nervous, afraid even, you're able to then work on bigger things, like relationships and friendships and having kids and just being the best you that you could possibly be. And that comes from dealing with self first. And I wanted to piggyback on that and actually add self-care to it, because yes, we can begin to love and work on ourselves, but until we start to care as well for ourselves, we really won't be able to receive the best parts of ourselves. And I believe self-care is so important. And I saw a video the other day and I posted it on my personal Instagram story, and it said that if you are self-teaching yourself, if you're teaching yourself self-care, you didn't learn it from nobody else, congratulations. You are now creating a generational movement in your bloodline, because now you're gonna be able to teach that to your children. Your children will carry that on. It's such a powerful thing. I was like, it's true. I'm teaching myself self-care. No one taught me self-care. And how I do self-care may not be the way you need to do self-care, but the way I do self-care is how I need to do self-care. And it helps me become the best version of myself every day. And even some days it's hard, and I do need my friends to kind of pick me up and help me out with it. But at the same time, most of the time, the way I do self-care is if I know I'm going to be off one day and I have time, because I'm a very busybody. If you know me, I'm a busybody. I'm always doing something. I'm always in something. My hands are always, I never stop moving. But when I do find the time, which is self-care for me, is when I find the time, to serve myself. My love language is, and I shouldn't even tell you. If you don't know what my love language is, you haven't listened to that episode, and you need to go listen to the episode right now. You can go listen to our love language episode to find out my love language. I'm just playing, I ain't gonna do that. But my love language is acts of service. And I do my love language to myself by serving myself. And so some days, if I find a time on a weekend or something to find peace for myself, I go get my nails done. Or, which I got done here, y'all. Look at them. Yes, I'm gonna draw my nail tech up in here, girl. You know. Okay, that's my girl. I spent 3 hours with her on Sunday. Yes, it took 3 hours, but our conversations be fire. Oh, and on the Patreon, that'll be an add-in. We'll have a thing called Combos with My Nail Tech on my Patreon, and that way you guys get to see the exclusive activities that me and her talk about, the things that we do. It's a whole podcast episode within itself, but I'm gonna add that to the Patreon, and it's gonna be called Combos with My Nail Tech. But back to what I was talking about. I go get my nails done sometimes, or I'll stay home. If I know I'll be able to have the place to myself, I'll stay home and I'll meditate. And I'm gonna upload a video, I believe after this one. I'll like right after this video is uploaded, I'll upload the video regarding my meditation routine and how I pretty much put on just some worship music, and I really just sit there and meditate on the voice of God and just let him speak to me and breathe and relax my mind and let it go. And I promise you, like, if I do that once a week, the rest of my whole week is like really good. I just feel amazing. I feel rejuvenated. That's another way I do self-care. Another way I do self-care is by reorganizing and reshifting my room. So sometimes I go buy brand new sheets, brand new covers. I throw away some pillows. I buy new pillows. I get a whole bunch of candles. I love candles, scented candles, like Glade candles and stuff. I get those. I get wax. I have like the little wax melts I buy, and then I just clean my room and I just reorganize and shift some things around. And doing that just it just brings me this peace, like this utter peace. I am the happiest person when my room is super clean and I have my candles lit in here and it's just me, music. It's just a vibe. It's a vibe. But I think I have a video, and I'm gonna also post that. I'm gonna upload it all together for you guys, so you guys can kind of see how I do self-care. But self-care, it can be a plethora of things. It can range from meditation to just taking time for yourself, going to the beach. It could be taking a walk at the park. Self-care is necessary. You need to take time for yourself, and you need to learn who you are alone. I believe that's so important, that a lot of people don't know who they are by themselves. You know, they depend so much on family to validate them. They depend so much on friends to validate them. They depend on the relationship to give them validation, and they never really understood who they were by themselves. And I say that with so much power because I'm in that journey right now. Of course, if you have been following my podcast for a while, you know that I'm on a healing journey right now. And on this healing journey, I realized that I was never really the main character in my life. And I always was like a character in my own life, but not the main character. I always allowed others to be the main character in my life. And I think I know now that because of that, I'm not able to really receive things that belong to me as love, true friendships, the things that I want to do. It's just uncomfortable for me, and people are just like, yo, just do it. And I'm just like, it's a little uncomfortable for me. It feels selfish of me. And they're like, why do you feel selfish? It's like, because I'm asking for it, and I'm not used to it. I'm not used to being offered it. I'm not used to being asking for it, asking for love, asking for attention. But now that I'm going through my healing journey, I'm learning how to speak up in those areas in my life, and I'm learning how to allow those things into my life. And it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's starting to make sense. And I'm saying all that to say, allow yourself room to grow, and allow yourself room to learn who you are. I'm learning who Farah is without the other characters involved. So now I am forced to be the main character. And doing that, I have not only elevated mentally, but spiritually. And not only that, me becoming the main character of my life has allowed me to see what I've been missing this whole time. And it's insane, you know. I never thought that me going on this journey would reveal such things to me, but it has. It really has. And I'm very happy. And I'm embracing my happiness, and I'm learning to slow down and take a breath and really enjoy every awesome moment that I can, because life goes like this, literally like this, and we just don't know when it's gonna end. We don't know. But you know, I just want you guys to allow God to become the center of your joy. Remember to always recenter yourself with Christ. Whenever you feel down, whenever you feel low, whenever you feel like you're about to give up, recenter yourself with him. He will always remain the constant. He's never changing. He's never failing. This man, this awesome God that we serve, he's the constant. He is the midpoint. He's the midpoint of our lives. And while everything else around us is going crazy and we feel like we're losing our minds, remember, God is the center of it all. He's the constant. He is the constant. I always tell him that, God, you are my only constant. You remain the same. And this is how I meditate. You remain the same. You are never changing. You never move. I move. I move. I create all this noise, all this nonsense around me. But Lord, you are my constant. And every time I remind myself that God is my constant, everything else fades away. It's that song. Let all the other things fade away. That's it. Let all the other things fade away. I think it's till it's only you or something like that. But I'll put the link to that song too in the description box. But let all the other things fade away. Let all the other things fade away. Let all the distractions, let all the loud, the noise, everything that everybody else has to say about you, everything that you have to say about you, everything that the enemy is trying to amplify within you, let it fade away. And let God remain the constant. Remember, he is the center of our joy. He remains our constant. So, like I said, this isn't going to be a long one. It's going to be short, but I just want you guys to create habits that cancel every negative emotion or thought. So, anytime you feel like, and I tell my friends this all the time, if you feel like you think a negative thought, because it's inevitable. We all think negative thoughts. We do. All of us do. But when you think that negative thought, always immediately cancel it with a positive affirmation. For example, if you are about to make a large purchase, for example, like a car, and let's say you go buy this car and you go in there, you go in the dealership, and they say your monthly payment is going to be $400 a month because your credit sucks, right? And you're just like, oh man, $400 a month? I can't afford that. I shouldn't get it. I shouldn't get this car. Okay, why shouldn't I get this car? But I need this car. Actually, you know what? I actually can afford this car, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the investment into this car because I know I need this car. It's not that I can't afford it. It's that I'm afraid to jump in and get it, right? So then somebody's gonna call. So this is the amplification of that thought. Somebody's gonna call you and say, yo, you should not get that car. You can't afford that. Do you know my income? No, you don't. You don't know my income? I can get this car. And you look at your bank account and you start to think positively. If I do this, that, and you start to plan, I can do this. It's a positive affirmation. Another example. If a friend of yours comes up to you, or if you even looking at yourself in the mirror, let's talk about self-esteem. Because I struggled with self-esteem, and I still kind of do suffer a little bit, but not really. I feel like, girl. I just like, okay, we're gonna cut that out. But I used to suffer with self-esteem pretty bad, and so I would look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh, I look so bad. Like, why is this here? Why do I have this blemish? Why do I have, you know? But I'm like, you know what? girl, you bad. You beautiful. Look at you, girl. Look how far you came. I used to cover my, I didn't say this on every other podcast, but I used to cover my smile up like this. I used to laugh like this. I used to laugh like this. When I took pictures, I would take my glasses off and just, or like this, smile like this. And this, I would never really want anyone to see the real me. But now when those thoughts come up, I'm able to say, you look good, girl. You look good. And I automatically cancel that negative thought with a positive thought. So always remember that. Cancel the negative thoughts with a negative thought with a positive affirmation of yourself. Thought. You gained a lot of weight. You look really bloated. Positive affirmation. Gained a lot of weight. Look a little bloated, but I'm healthy. I'm living. God, thank you for today. Cancel it. Cancel it. You don't allow it to sit there and fester, because once it festers and it sits, it grows and it becomes a blister, and it gets pussy, it gets nasty, and it just grows and grows and grows, and then you can't overcome that. But you don't want to be there. You want to overcome that thought. You want to be strong. You want to be better. This is all about self-care. So, change the outcome by changing your beginning. Oh, I just added 10 more minutes. Just by that. Change the outcome of your life by changing your beginning. Changing your beginning. How do I change my beginning? I've already begun my life. How do I change it? How? See, that's what I mean by God being our constant. We run back to Him whenever we fall. And we don't really need to run when He catches us every time. We change our outcome by changing our beginning, by praying, by seeking His face, by meditating, by reading His word, by worshiping, by renewing our minds and our hearts and our spirits. That's how we change our beginning. Because God is able to press that restart, refresh button for us whenever it is necessary. Lord God, I center myself with you, and I need you to renew and restore every part of me. And the outcome of that shall change. You'll start to see that you see the world a little bit differently. That people will come up to you, and usually you would be irritated by something they said, but you just laugh because it don't bother you no more. You realize you're smiling a little bit different. Your walk, your talk, it all changed. God is the constant. He is the center of our joy. And when you remember to go to Him and renew your mind and renew your spirit in Him, and find those moments of self-care, create those moments of self-care, create those habits of canceling negative thoughts with positive affirmations. And I promise you, I'm saying all this, and I'm gonna give you a disclaimer. It's easier said than done. Most days, I have the hardest days, but it gets easier. It gets easier. Create your tribe, the people you can run to, the people you can trust, and pay attention to your friends in your circle. Watch how they root for you when you win something or you do something big. Pay attention to those. Pay attention to when you're down bad, how they react. Pay attention to that. Pay attention. So, said all that to say, self-care is important, and understanding of yourself is important. So this month of April, we're in April 1st. This month of April, I do challenge my butterflies, along with myself, to create moments that will be so meaningful, but create moments alone. Create memories with self this month. And find your center with God. Whatever it needs to be, prayer, worship. It might be 10 minutes in the car, 10 minutes in the shower, probably 5 minutes when you wake up, however, 10 minutes before you go to bed. However you find your center with God, find it. And begin to work on self. I love you, butterflies. And before I end, I do have a verse, but also I do want to invite you guys to go ahead and comment below if you want us to get this Patreon, because I would love to do the Patreon for you guys. I would love to do the Patreon for you guys. And I would love to have a Patreon for you guys where you guys can come on and you guys can definitely just receive way more from me and my team. Once again, the group, I know you guys missed the group dynamic. They're coming back, guys. We're gonna be back real soon, this month in April. But I did want to spend just personal time with my butterflies. I did miss you guys, so I wanted to spend personal time and really get this self-care message out for you guys, because it's important. In order for us to be the best versions of ourselves, we need to understand this aspect, right? So I wanted to end with the verse, and the verse is Psalm 139:13. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. Verse 14. 1 second, guys. I had it pulled up and it went away. That's okay. But yeah, definitely be the best version of yourself. You always want to be the best version of yourself. All right, so Psalm 139, verse 13 to 14, and it's from the NIV version, if you're trying to see what version I'm reading. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. May God be with you. May you feel the peace and the love of God in your life. I love you, butterflies. And remember, say it with me, always fly high. Bye.
So I create a negative thought. It's just like, I'm going to be very successful. And my mind said, oh, no, you're not. Okay? So since I create positive and negative, it's which one I give the most attention that is powerful. When I think positive constantly, it's very powerful and it controls me. If I think negative all the time, it's going to control me too. So right now, my positive thought is there is going to be no disaster to destroy what I have planned for me and my family. And if there is, that's life. See, I don't have any choice about what my life is going to be like. The only choice I possibly might have is how I'm going to react to it. I've gotten to the point that what works for me, and I notice that it works for me, is for me to be totally honest. And honestly, that's what I feel right now. Tomorrow it may change. I don't know what my future's like. But I know that if I'm totally honest, I can't go wrong. The truth will set you free.
Thank you for listening to the Butterfly Diaries podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms at the Butterfly Diaries podcast. And don't forget, butterflies, always fly high.